All right, here we are. We're going to continue today on databases. So last time we went over the basics of what a database is, some of the basic commands, how to set up the database, how to create a database, and tables. Okay, so just to do a quick review, what is a table? Well, what's a database? Well, a database is a place where you keep information, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's a data storage of some sort, and you keep it in different ways. SQL server, it's a relational database, which means we're going to be using something called a table. So, what is a table? Let's see. Do you guys remember? Okay. See,
A
go ahead.
A structure containing data featuring rows and columns.
I mean, you're sort of okay, but let me give you the real definition that I came up with last time, that I did not steal from you at all. Okay. It is a structure representing data that consists of rows and columns. That's what it is. So, in our databases, we're going to be keeping data in structures called tables. And they consist of rows, and each row has properties or columns. And each column, it's kind of a different property of information about the row itself. So for example, in the character table, we're going to keep characters. And let's say we have Caesar, which is a character. His name is Caesar. His job is Bard, age 169, level 1, gold 33. And I mean, you guys get that. That's pretty straightforward, right? Okay. So we understand what a table is and a database in this simplest form. So what do we use to interact? What language? How can we interact with the database? How can we query it or talk to it? Do you guys remember?
SSMS? Session manager?
Yes. Well, we use the management tool, yes, which is this right here. Remember the management tool, which is this. For some reason, this thing is the management tool lets us connect to the database and interact with it, and look at the tables and query the tables. And yes, so in a way, yes, it's the management studio. But what language do we use to talk to the database or query it?
We use the structured query language.
That's right. Or SQL or SQL.
Or Squirrel.
Or Squirrel, yes. Yeah, everybody, has a different name for it. Yeah, so we use SQL. So SQL, I think there you go. Yeah, so there you go, structured query language over here. And yeah, remember there's also non-SQL databases, but we're going to be dealing mostly with relational data and databases. So we're going to use SQL to query it. So you could tell from the name that it's called SQL, which stands for Structured Query Language. Which, in a way, query means the same thing as kind of a question, or you're asking something. So you talk to it, you talk to the database by saying or asking questions or statements, or giving a statement saying, hey, give me this. Or hey, can you give me this where the person is a dragon? Or hey, update the table where the age is 69. Or, so on and so forth. So you guys remember the where statement, correct?
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. All right. So for now, actually, I'm just gonna delete all of this right here. By the way, I got to this by just right-clicking and selecting the top 1,000 rows, and that's kind of built in. And it gives me this. We only have 4. It only returns 4. If I wanted to add data to it, I said edit top 200 rows. And then in this one, I can change data. I could just go in and add a new record. Remember the word record, or change information, or do all sorts of cool things. Okay. So we're just gonna leave it like that here. All right. So like I said, we went over some of the basics. We did the select statement, which you basically are saying, hey, select all the properties or columns from the table name. So which table name are we dealing with here? Well, we only have one table.
Character.
That's right, from character. So if I did this, what would this do exactly? What would this return?
Return every data of that table.
Yep, every record pretty much. Boom, look at that. So it returned everything. I just ran it. You could say execute or press F5 and it will run it. But if I wanted to further filter that information, I would use the where clause, which is kind of like English, and you say, hey, give me all the columns from the table character where, let's say, job equals Bard. All right, so if I'm going to run that here, run and tell that right here, homeboy. Boom. So in this case, it gave me the correct answer. So Caesar Bard right here. Okay, I know you guys know this, but it's very important, to just do a quick refresh. Remember, you could also say job equals Bard or race equals dragon. So how many records would that return? Was that?
Uno.
No.
No. No. None.
Are you sure? All right, I'm going to run
Everything
it.
where a character is a bard. I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
That
no.
would be
Oh, no, no.
2. You would be Caesar and the dragon.
That's exactly. So as return, where job equals Bard, so this, or, remember how OR works, or race equals dragon. So it will return both. It will be different if I say and, then that it would return 0, because there's no such thing as somebody who has the job Bard and is also a dragon.
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, that's true. That's true. It'll be like burning up everything, or a Terminator. Yeah, I never seen a Bard dragon. It's an idea. Okay, so you guys remember this. This is great. Okay, so give me a thumbs up. You guys are good. Boom. Okay. I will give you a fist bump for that. So let's continue. The plan is to go over a couple of the statements for SQL. Some of the basic ones, the ones you're going to need the most. And then we're going to roll it over to something else, which is kind of the next big topic. It's called ORM. Well, the ORM pattern or technologies, or whatever you want to call it, or framework. But for now, we need to at least do a due diligence and go over a couple of these. So we understand select. Boom. I do feel obligated to throw in that there is also the keyword order by ID. And guess what that does? Go ahead. Do you guys know? Well, I'm going to run it. Well, it's already ordered by ID. So if I switch the order, it orders it backwards. Or how about just order by age? If I order by age, let's see what will give me. Look at that.
Now, you ordered by age and or ID, but can you select the type of order by age?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
So it's ordering smallest to largest currently.
Yep.
Could you reverse that?
Yep. You do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then it's backwards.
I'm sorry. You already went over that, didn't I?
No, I did not. This is the first time I'm showing you guys this. No, so this is, I think it's important. And again, I entreat you and remind you that you should go to W3 schools or go, remember we have an account of Plural site, to go there and check out some of the basics. And you know, just do a little bit of due diligence. What is it? Diligence on this, because it's kind of important. You will be. We're not gonna focus on it right now, like hardcore, but eventually, once everything comes together and starts coming together, you will use these, and you will need to know them. But again, we're trying to get to the point where we can all use it together, and it's all good. Also, we're kind of sort of learning two things at the same time, which is a little bit tricksy, but it will pay off. The important thing is the notion, the concept. Okay, so order by. You guys got order by here. Just in case, let me add it to our notes right here. Okay, so the next one, let me just select it all again. For some reason, my display seems to be messed up over here a little bit. Okay, so this is our table here. Now, the next one, the next big one, is insert into. Okay. So, I mean, you can sort of imagine, what do you think insert into does or should do? Well, it says it. It says insert into, and then table name. And then these are the columns, and these are the values you want in the column. All right. Well, let me give you an idea here. So again, I'm just gonna. Okay, now it's very important that you guys pay attention over here, because this is. We're not going to spend too much time here, but it is very important that you understand the concept. Well, first of all, do you understand the concept of inserting? This inserts a row into the table. Okay, so I mean, you guys understand that, right? 100%.
I mean, I get what you're saying. I
Okay.
don't see it at work, so I'm not really sure.
No. I just want you to understand the concept. Yeah. Yeah. You guys understand the concept somewhat?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So, I mean, all this is just. You don't even need to do this. It's just. Might as well just properly do it. All right. Insert into table. What's the name of our table? Character, right? All right. Well, I'm going to keep it. I'm kind of going to keep it simple here. Sorry, I might have made it a little bit more. Okay, so I want to insert into the table character a new character. So let's go make believe that it goes by column. So the first thing I put here is going to go in the first column. So let's try that. Okay, so what name? Well, let's just make up a name. Let's say Bilbo. So what should I insert next? What am I supposed to insert next?
Age.
No. Bilbo's a name,
Wait,
my friend.
job.
That's right. That's right. Ring bearer. Well, just bearer. He's a bearer. Okay, his age. So I don't know what is it, like 88 or something. What's next?
Level.
Yeah, let's give him level 1. Gold. You probably got 1 gold. He doesn't have a lot of money. Race. What's race?
Hobbit.
That's right. HP, he doesn't have a lot, so maybe 11. NMP, let's say maybe 8. All right. We leave the ID out because we're inserting something. Normally, you could put in the ID, but remember what we spoke about? We set up the ID to be auto increasing. Do you guys remember that? We call it an identity column. So yeah, so we don't need to worry about ID. The database will increase, will put the number in there by itself.
If we had the ID first, would we just like pretend it doesn't exist?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
That's a very good question, by the way. That is an amazing question. Yes. It tries to do the best. It's kind of dumb sometimes, but it sort of tries to do the best and put things in order where it sort of can. It won't work a lot of the time, or, well, sometimes, but, you know, it works. Ideally, it should. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to see if this works. So remember, this is convention. This is how it works. You say insert into table name, in which case, what table do we want to insert something into? The character table, because we want to insert Bilbo and his information into the character table. And the values that we're providing are these. Now, let's see if that works. We're not sure if that works. But if I press execute, it will tell me if it works or not, or let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Do you guys see the message? What did it say?
1 row affected.
Good. So that means that, and it also said query executed successfully. So,
Hey.
so let's see. So, how can I see? How can I see what's inside the table to see if I added it?
Go to table, the character table, then right-click design.
Nice. That is correct. Or I could just type select star from character.
Oh.
But you're correct. Boom. You're correct. I like your way. Here we go. So, did it work? Did we insert a hobbit into our database?
We did.
We did indeed. Yes. Sweet. Now,
Look at the ID though.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of it's an internal thing. It's kind of weird. You kind
So
of
we just ignore those.
yeah, it's weird. I mean, you have the system take over, but at the expense of sometimes not knowing sort of what kind of ID you're gonna get. And most of the time that's not really an issue as long as it's unique and as long as it's the next one. But there are times where you're not gonna when you're gonna want to set it yourself. But yeah, it's kind of odd sometimes.
Anytime you're gonna have to recall it specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully,
Um,
yeah.
Actually, I have a question relating to that
Yes.
because we have ways of manually editing this, and now we've got this code where we can edit. What is the benefit of doing it through this code?
Um, I'm not sure what you mean. The benefit of adding it through where?
So, like, we could edit the information by editing the top rows or whatever, just by
You,
clicking on them.
you mean like over here? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like this here. Mm-hmm. You mean what is why don't we just create people through here? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you can't because you see this code here, right? Is the actual code. So whenever you talk to this manager, whenever you talk to the database, you need to create code. So, and most of the time, right, you're not going to be able to right click and go, hey, enter all these things. You're going to be dealing with functions that have a value or that return a value, and then update some table, and then get the table, then process that table, and then gets that, and then uses another table and inserts to another table. And so you can't really do that just through the GUI. That's impossible. Well, let me give you a better. Let's say you have to write a function, right? That grabs one table. Let's say we had tables here, right? And copies the top 1,500 rows into another table. How will you do that? Would you like right click and then edit and then copy this and then like 15? No, and then remember, it's not only, let's say like the top 1,500 that have gold less than 100 or something like that, right? So then that's just impossible for a human being to do because you would have to filter through all of them, copy them, then open the other table and then paste them. And that doesn't always, that's not a good way to do things. This is weird here. Yeah, no, the GUI, it's only there for kind of help out. And also, since, well, and the most important reason is we're going to be using and accessing data in the database from our software, from our code. And therefore, we need to talk to it in SQL. So this is not like when you right click on it and then do this, that's not really SQL, just you messing around with the GUI, with the graphic interface. So it's not really helpful when it comes to do complex things. And when you have to do kind of a lot of things, like millions of records or hundreds of thousands, it's not very helpful.
Understood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean. But since we're going to be using code, especially from outside here, um, you definitely want to do it like this because we don't have access from outside SQL management to update data, to insert it. This is the only way that we have. We say by using this command. Let's see. Yeah, so I mean, and I know it's pretty sweet. to do just right click and enter it, but it's not, after you just start doing complex things, it's not that helpful. Okay, so we inserted a hobbit, right? I mean, that worked. So we did, sorry, this keeps, yeah, so we inserted into character values. So let me ask you a question. So you see I said values here, and I told you it's smart enough to know to put them in place, right? You go here, 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 right? You can see it?
Yeah.
So take the first one. Okay, so another way of doing that, I mean, you could tell what properties, what columns you want to put them into. What fields? Actually, let's call them fields because it's kind of the name. You see how they have the fields here? You give it like, they're giving it, hey, the field name, and this, and this, and this, and they correspond to sort of each one. Do you see it? You could do it like that, or you could do it like this, which is sort of a shorthand. Either way you prefer, it's, you know, it's one of those things. Should I put that in here just in case so we don't forget? What do you guys think? Should I put in the names as well? Or not really? Names of the fields.
I'm not sure it's necessary.
Well, it's not. I mean, I'm just saying if you guys need it. I mean, you guys are smart enough to know that this works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. But just remember that you can, oh, this is how we're going to do it, yeah. Optional field names here. There we go. And I'm going to put that on your notes. Shablips. Someday we will put these in order, I swear. Okay, so what's this here? All right. Okay, so that's the insert, how to insert a row. It is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's not like rocket science. Do you guys know how to insert a row with information in it now?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not hard. It's, you know, let's not get hung up on it. It's very easy. Now the next one, update. Here it is. Now this is the most important one and the trickiest one. Well, select is the most important one, but this is the trickiest one. Now, well, let me go do it in a different one. That way we don't override our knowledge. Okay. All right. So remember, some of these, this is how the language is by convention. This is how it works. Don't get too confused and don't get too hung up on the syntax. You remember, you could look it up if you're not sure how to do this, especially this one in particular. All right, this is the update statement. You use the update statement to update data in a record or a bunch of records. Okay, so the way it works is you say, hey, update and the table name. So our table name is character. So you have to say, hey, what is it that you want to update? So you say set. So I want to set, I want to change my job to Bard Wizard, right? So set job to Bard wizard. Okay. Now, this is very important. The where is extremely important. So if I want to change myself, so if I wanted to choose myself, what can I, give me an example. So I want to change my job to Bard Wizard. So give me an example of the where.
Where ID equals, what is it, 5?
4.
I can't see the 4.
Yeah, I know. It's very small. I'm sorry. I need to make them bigger.
No, the screen is it's a little fuzzy today.
It's tiny.
Oh, is it? Oh, crap.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Just let me know. I'll try to update or something. Yeah. So 4 here. Yeah.
ID
So
is 4. Right.
so ID equals 4. Okay. So this is I'm gonna run this. So again, remember, I'm saying update the table. So I'm updating the table character. And then I'm saying, hey, set this field to this value where ID equals 4. So since I want to do me, ID equals 4. So let's see if that works. I'm going to press execute. Okay, I'm about to execute it. Boom. Okay, so it says 1 row affected and query executed successfully. All right, so let's go and see if that works. So I'm just gonna run this here. By the way, you could highlight and just run piece of code. Be very careful when you do this, but you can do that. I'm gonna execute just this here. Oh, look at that.
Nice.
That's pretty sweet, right? Very nice. Now, I'm going to ask you a question, and this is the most important lesson that I could ever show you on databases. See where it says where ID equals 4. Okay, so remember the lesson, the thing that we spoke about before. When you don't provide a where, what is affected?
Everything.
Everything. So I am about to do it. Are you ready? What do you think will happen if I execute this?
Everyone's job with.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Oh, 5 rows affected. Oh boy. Let's see what happened. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna run this. Oh, I mean, look at that. Oh, yeah. So let me ask you a question. Can you imagine how powerful and how dangerous this command is?
Yes.
If you don't provide the where clause. Many a database have been ruined by somebody leaving out the where clause when doing an update statement, because everything is affected, and it's pretty tricky to, I mean, like, hopefully whenever you do anything, you're going to be doing something on a test database, or you're going to have backup. I've actually done this on the whole database once, but luckily I was well, I've done it like twice, I think. One of them was in a test database. What I was doing is I was I had this thing here, right? I had the statement, and I slipped when I was gonna press execute or F5, and I slipped and I highlighted the wrong thing. I left out the where, and then I executed. And guess what happens if you do that? Oh yeah. If you do that, the whole database goes. So you kind of have to be very careful where you highlight or how you play around with this, because um, it's very easy to mess up if you're not sure of what you're doing. And again, and the second one, I did it in an actual um, live database in MedLife. But I was able to correct the issue because the tables affected were not um, critical, and I was able to. Well, I could have just. I mean, I was able to just revert it, so It's not that bad. I was able to finagle it around since the tables weren't used, and so I have enough time. But again, some of those things, um, they can be ugly. So I mean, you guys can imagine how ugly this is, right? Or how powerful it can be.
Definitely.
Okay, good. So I mean, update character, boom. I'm gonna copy that and I'm gonna put it in your notes right here. All right. Let me the where. Yep. That is very, very important right there. Never forget the where. Um, so what happens if you forget the where or you have the wrong where? Everything is affected, or the things that you didn't want to be affected are affected. Okay. Um, let me see. Let me change windows. Oh, okay. Let me see if this works here. Let me see if that did that improve it at all or not really. It's the same thing. It might be.
You're looking good at the moment. I'll let you
Okay.
know.
Oh, good. So it kind of goes. Okay, it comes and goes. Got
Yeah,
it.
with the connection.
Got it. Got it. Okay, so how do we feel about the update character? I mean, update table statement. Uh, you guys feel it, right? I mean, you understand it.
Yeah, we're in good.
Okay, and now the delete statement. Oh, yes.
Delete everything.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is right here. So if the update table statement is dangerous, so what do you think the delete statement can do?
Wow.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
We'll
say
wreck the rock.
you're saying, hey, delete from the table, and that you have to tell it what you're gonna delete. If you don't, everything goes. Actually, I think everything goes in this one, yes. Um, so don't forget the where. So let's say where, let's delete Bilbo. Well, where MP is MP equals 8. All right, and let's see if it runs. I'm about to execute it. One row affected. And let's see what we have here. Bilbo's gone. So it did work. Bilbo, we deleted Bilbo. And if Bilbo's not, if we forget the where, uh, then everything goes. That is pretty straightforward, correct? I mean, you guys, it's not rocket science.
Yeah.
And there is the where. Beautiful. Okay, so that right there, it's sort of the basic statements for SQL. I mean, there's tons of other stuff that um, we will be, we'll need to know. But for now, that is sort of what we need to do, the basic, well, some of the basic I/O, basic functionality. I mean, we understand and or not, distinct, we will go over later. Well, I mean, just to give you an idea, just select country from customers, distinct. All that distinct is just don't return any copies of the same thing. Basically, don't return anything that is the same. Yeah, any twin records. So if you have two Caesars in the query that is, and the records that is returning, just return one. I will let you play around with that one. All right. So how's you guys' head? You guys okay? You guys all right?
Doing good so far.
Okay. All right.
Good.
So, all right. Let me know if you need a minute or you guys want to continue because we're about to get into the next stage, the next level. Let me know if you guys are good. Well, yes, yeah, we're about to do that now. Let me drink some water here.
Good here.
Okay. Dave, you're good? Sweet.
Yes.
Okay, so beautiful, beautiful. All right, so we have our game DB here, and it's nice. And we have a table here. Look at that, it's a very nice table. We have one. So how about we create some kind of a sweet, let's create another table. Oh, actually, I'm gonna take some of your tables. I think we can do that. Man, might as well just. I was just gonna take one of your tables, but then it will be tricky. Let's just create one. Do you guys know that you could just give me your tables? Let me show you how. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
let me show you. You see, if you
Final Fantasy is probably easier to import.
yeah, yeah.
The tables for Phantasy Star are crazy and stupid.
No, well, they're good. They're developed. Yeah, but now let me just show you something. I mean, we're gonna do it from scratch, but do you guys want to right click on it? Do you see where it says script table? As you see, it says create. So if you say create and then this one, you create table, it's gonna show up here. And basically, this is the language that creates a new table with, yeah, a new character table. You don't have to memorize this. You don't really need to know this, but just see that it says create table, call it character, and these are what the fields look like. See identity, start at 1, increment by 1, no nullables, and just create it, and it's all good. So I can copy and paste that to you, and then you can create that into your own. Like you could just new query, and then copy it, and then call it, hey, let's call it create character 2, right? Run it. Command completed successfully, right? And refresh. Oh, look at that. Now we have a new table called character 2. Isn't that sweet? That is very powerful. Very nice. The data you carry over through a different way. But this is how you create the table itself, the schema. It's called the schema. All right. But let's just create our own. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, should we go with Final Fantasy for now? Yeah, let's just stick to this for now. All right, let's just create a table. Item. Oh, well, this is going to be an item table, which has just random items. So name, let's keep it very simple. Name, description, right? And cost, right? Price, yeah, cost is fine. And I guess ID and none, and let me just say that. There we go. And let me see if I could set as primary key. Don't worry about what this is for now. Let's just save it. And we're going to call it item because that's what we're keeping in there. Okay. So let's refresh. There you go. So we have another. I hate this red things in here. It just throws it off. All right. This is good for now, I think. Character item. Yeah, you guys are. I mean, you guys are pretty good at creating tables, and you guys understand. Okay, great. So we are database professionals now. Isn't that awesome? Okay, you guys deserve a fist bump. I am now going to give you a fist bump, guys. There you go. That was a good fist bump. I have not given you a fist bump in a long time, but you guys deserve one. But I hope you get your mind ready because we are about to go up a level now. Okay. Yes. Your mind might have to start charging me child support because I'm going to do things to it. Very, 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 yeah. Sorry, that's a weird joke, but yes. Anyway, let's go back to our code. Are you guys ready?
Ready.
Okay. Okay, so we are going to start this from scratch, 100%. 100%. That way, we're all on the same page, and it's easy to understand. Just remember that we have a database called GameDB, and it's out there somewhere. And it has 2 tables. All right, so this. I'm going to create a new project. New project. And it's going to be an MVC page.
Just so you're aware, your connection, audio and visual are a little bit erratic.
Okay. All right. Nothing too bad.
Crazy, but it's hard to read your text right now.
Okay. All right. So let me take it a little easier. Let me see what else I'm running here. Oh yeah. This is nice. Is it your database? Let me see what else I'm running here. I don't think I'm running anything else. Hopefully not. That is weird. This. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, if not, I mean, I'll go downstairs and update my. Let me change my settings. One second. If not, I'll go downstairs if necessary. Um, let's see. This is probably going to lower the resolution, but let me know. I mean, I just lowered the resolution, but this is blurry, correct?
Yeah.
This is definitely blurry, 100%. Okay. Now, this is slightly better because I think it's a connection now.
For the moment, it is. It fades in and out a little, but I can
Got
read
it.
it.
Okay, okay, good, good. Yeah, just let me know because if not, I'll just go downstairs if it keeps happening. Yeah, it's a connection. Okay, so I'm gonna start a new project and let's call this DV test. And the usual is an MVC project. It's being created. I gotta check my Wi-Fi. Hope nobody's jacking it. Checking my Wi-Fi.
That's something you got to worry about over there, huh?
Not really. I have it locked up. But I don't think so. No one would around here would be smart enough to take my Wi-Fi, I don't think. But you never do. You never do.
I have like 10 Raspberry Pis. Somebody could totally just
Oh, really?
hijack all of them. Yeah.
Just
I
check
don't
it
have
out.
any security on them.
No way. Excuse me. No, I think I'm okay. Okay, so this is a normal, let's see, this is a normal project. We're gonna test that it's a normal project by pressing the play button. And again, just to review, since we haven't been here in a little bit, we haven't been in Visual Studio in a little bit. What happens when I press this magic button here? The IIS Express.
We turned the local host into our own little magic box server.
Yep. So it turns into a local magic web server that runs our web page as if it was on the internet. So let's do that. And this is it's a sample project, so it already comes kind of pre-packaged with certain pages. And as you can see, it's pretty nice. It has it has a controller, it has a home controller, it has some actions. You guys remember what controllers are and actions are, right?
Yeah.
Good, good, good. Okay, because that's not what we're focusing on right now. Okay, so as you can see, it's a normal project. The way you can see this is we have a controller, we have the views, and let's say in the contact page, instead of saying, hey, your contact page, this is my contact page. Yach. Okay. And we're passing that through the view bag. And let's show this just, I know we don't need to do this, but let's check it out. And which action is this? This is a contact action. All right, so let's see. Boom. There we go. So we pass a message to the contact page and to the view, and then it's displayed. Okay. So far so good. Everybody remembers everything we've done so far. Yeah.
We'll say that.
Up to here in this project. Yeah. You got to feel comfortable of where we are now. I mean, on this project here. Dave? Are you good, Dave? Dave, are you there?
Did we lose him?
Let's see. I think he's checking on the dog, perhaps. Let's see. Dave, let us know when you're back. Because we're about to drop the mic, drop the bomb. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's dog. Oh, yeah, we cannot hear you if you're saying anything.
Hello?
Yep, now we can hear you. Perfect. Yeah, we can hear you that last time. Hmm. Count to 5. Oh, all right. All right, laptop headphones. So, are you good? Let's see.
Yes.
Oh, okay. There we go. Yeah, I was just waiting for you. Okay, so we are good. We are good. All right. So again, this is a normal project like we've done many, many times before. It should be second nature. Because my nose is getting stuffy for some reason. So now we're gonna go on to the next step. You guys have already been working on it for a while now, and you sort of understand the concept because you've used it earlier, and but you guys were using it without really understanding 100% what you're dealing with and why you were dealing with it. So now, let me ask you a question. Right now, I am on the website, right? I'm in Visual Studio. I'm creating a website, and I am not on like in the database right now, right? I mean, I don't have access to the database.
Gotcha. Yep.
Yep. So like right now, I have absolutely no way of contacting the database. Like it's impossible. You guys agree with that, right? There's none. Okay. So there are mechanisms to access database. They're just called database access technology. There's many ways, well, not many. There's a few ways that you can use to access databases. We can go over a couple of one, but we're not going to spend too much time. The main, let's see. Okay, one of the technologies to access database is called ADO. And we use that databases. We're going to keep it simple. Don't worry about it. Okay, so what ADO did or does is let's make believe that I create an object, right? Or an object called ADO. I'm just making this up, by the way, sort of. ADO. ADO. And let's call it database. Well, let's call it DB connector. New ADO. All right. So again, I'm just making believe, just making this up. So I have a DB connector of type ADO, and let's say that this is a special connector that I can give it certain commands, and it lets me connect to the database. Okay, so I want you to sort of pay attention here and try to imagine how this works or how this can work. Okay, so let's say, it's something called DB connector, which I just made up. And let's say DB connector has something called open database. And then you give it the name of your database. What is the name of our database? You guys remember?
I do not.
It's here.
GameDB?
That's right. We've created like 50 databases, so it's okay. Yeah, the database, you see databases, our current database, current database is called GameDB. Okay. And so we just give it, hey, GameDB. So let's make believe that that creates a connection to the database. Again, I'm simplifying this greatly. So then let's say that I create something, well, list of something, right? Yeah, some kind of list. List of persons, well, characters. I'm just making this up, by the way. Roster. And let's make believe that DB connector has something called query, in which you can give it a SQL query. And it's going to go to the database and execute the query and then return it as if you were to do it here. Does that sort of make sense? A little bit. So do you see here, if I wanted all the records from the character table, I would say select from character, and that would give me all the character, all the information, all the records from the character table, correct? So what this connector does is, hey, I can execute this query for you, and the result, I can put it in whatever you want me to, wherever you want me to put it. It's very powerful. But notice what I want you to understand, don't get hung up on anything else. What I want you to understand here, well, the important thing to understand is that ADO, it's an object that lets me connect to the database. By opening a connection to the database, and then it lets me query the database, just as I would from the inside here. You see, so it's like new query, and then I could type stuff here. Basically, I'm doing the same thing, but from our code. And I can access the information from our code. Does that example kind of make sense, and do you get the idea of what I'm trying to say here?
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Dave? Yes?
Was that a yes?
I'm not sure. Yeah, Dave, are you good with that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Hey.
Beautiful, yes. Yeah, so I just wanted to make sure. I'm going to copy this. And then that is an extremely, extremely short explanation of what ADO or what a database access technology is.
Did you just say the magic word there? Is that access in a nutshell?
Sort of, not really. Access is more like a database. That is, access is kind of a combination of the management, the SQL management console, and the database. So it's both. It's one on top of the other.
Gotcha.
Okay, so there you go. So you guys understand now that there are ways to connect to a database. ADO is one of them. Now you might ask yourself what does ADO stand for, and I don't remember. It's something with data objects. Let me see. ADO stands for, yeah, active data objects. Yeah, so it's objects that have to do with data, and you don't really need to know about it right now. It's just database stuff. Just remember that. Is that cool? Okay, sweet.
That's cool.
Yep. Okay, so now my next question is, have we been messing around with the database up to now? I mean, have we ever done anything with databases before?
I've never done anything to this extent nearly.
Well, I mean, we have, right? I mean, you guys don't remember? Create character, delete character.
Oh, well, in that case, yes. I think you meant like individually on our own.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is a good question. Yeah, sorry, that's a tricky question. Yes, yeah, but we kind of have in a way. I mean, it's kind of a tricky way, but we have. So now, let's make it official. Okay, you will hear this term. You will hear of it from now on. You will hear of it a lot, and whenever you go to job sites, you will put it on your resume. People will ask you what it is. Do you have any experience with it? You already have experience with it, and somewhat what it is. So I will tell you what it is. Today we're going to go over what an ORM framework is. Okay, and it's don't be scared. You already use it. You've been using it all along, and you've been using it really well. You understand what it is. It's just we need to give it a name and sort of officially say what it is. Okay, first of all, what is an ORM framework? Okay, what it is, it lets you use a database as objects in your code. I know that sounds a bit weird, but again, repeat that with me. Lets you use database and database tables as objects in your code. Okay, so let's use database.
I like that.
Yeah, that's not bad. Database tables as objects in your code. Well, not only, yeah, database and database tables, because it's not only tables. Yeah, so yeah, allows you to access tables, which allows you to edit of the records, add, remove records. Remember, like we used to do with person and cars. Okay, so again, I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to keep on repeating it a few times. Okay, so again, ORM, all it is, it stands for Object Relational Mapping. So all it is just, it maps objects from the, a relational database and lets you treat them as objects. That is why, do you remember, so in our database, do you remember when we had person? So in essence, when we use an ORM, which from now on, we're going to be calling Entity Framework. It's a technology, it's a framework. So what's the one that we're going to be calling? It's called,
ORM?
yeah, the technology is called an ORM framework. The
Oh,
one,
oh,
the one, yeah, the version we're going to be using is called Entity Framework. And that is, yes. There are other ones. There is one called Hibernate or Hibernate, which is very powerful as well. Java, the Hibernate is the entity framework of the Java world. It is way more robust, or at least it used to be, than entity framework. But entity framework has actually caught up quite a bit. This is kind of the big daddy of the ORM world. I used to use this when I worked at MetLife, and now I'm using this one. And this is the one that kind of most people are using nowadays when it comes to .NET stuff. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so again, so what the framework does, it lets you use tables or the database and treat them as objects or classes or instances of classes. So do you remember before when we had something called a person and we were able to save a person to the database? Do you guys remember that? Well, yes, you should. It wasn't that long ago. Okay, so now, so you guys sort of understand the concept. Now, let's make it a little bit more concrete. I need you guys to wake up, though. You guys up? All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Because this is it right here. This is money. This is money. Let me get a drink of water right here. If not, I'm gonna play Vitas. I'll be like, ba 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 ba.
What is Vitas?
You don't know that? It's like the Russian guy called like.
Yeah, I do. He's in a meme. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's all over. I'll bring him up. Okay, so let's go. Let's wake up. Okay, so ORM. So from now on, we're just gonna call it Entity Framework because that's what it is. EF. Okay, so let's do it like they do in the Discovery channel, right here. So pay close attention to this. It's a good thing we have the video because you will most likely need to go back and view this on setting up an entity framework. So we need to do two things. Okay. One, we need, well, the goal to this is to interact with the database, right? The goal of this exercise. Right? Yes.
Right.
It is. So let's do that. So let's connect to the database. So we go to, you see where it says tools and then connect database. All right. Okay, so do you guys see, can you guys see this?
Yes.
Okay, so here we're going to provide the name of our server. Let me see, it probably doesn't remember. Most of the time it won't. It's going to try to see if we have any. If we don't, just let's try to get it from here. So what is the name of our server?
C-Aces.
That's right. And then that little squiggly thing.
Tilde?
Tilde, yeah, slash. Well, that's slash SQL Express. So that is the name of our server. So let's type it out. I know it sounds. So it's, see, normally I just cut and paste it from somewhere. But for now, let's do it, let's do it the right way. aces. And then what was it? Backslash, this guy here. And what was it? SQL Express. Is this correct? SQL Express. Okay. Dash aces SQL Express. That looks somewhat accurate, correct? Okay, so we type that, so that's the server name. One way to know if you typed it correctly or if it's correct, you see over here where it says select or enter a database name, you drop this down. Oh, okay, so if you connect it, it will give you the name of the database that you can have access to. So in here, we see our database here is GameDB, right? So I'm going to select it, right? And then I'm going to hit OK. You could test it, but it's fine. Let's say OK. All right, so I have a connection. Do you see over here where it says data connections?
That's a yes.
Sweet. So right now I have data connections, and it can, isn't this pretty crazy? Because it can see the database here. And you see how you could also see what tables there are? That's pretty nice. That is very nice. So you could sort of see the information, what the table looks like, what information it gets, and all that good stuff. Okay. So now that is step one. Step one, establishing a connection to the database. So far, that is not Entity Framework. Okay. All that does is just create a connection to the database. Now, don't get too hung up on some of these. The system is smart enough to create a lot of these connections for you. Of course, later on you will have to know where to go and how to update them and how to, maximize them and fiddle with them and whatnot. But now it's good enough for us to use this. I use this at work, so you don't need to worry about, you don't need to go around worrying whether or not this is too easy or is too convenient or this is not going to be good enough. It is. I mean, you will know, we will go over how to, where it is that you can access some of this information and change it, or you could figure it out yourself. But this is, it's just very powerful. Okay, so continuing, we have the connection. And now we are going to do something very tasty here. Okay, so project. All right, so we are going to add a new item. I hope you guys are taking notes, or at least paying attention here, but at least hopefully we'll have the video. All right, we're adding a new item. Okay, item, boom. So we don't want to add any of these dudes here because we already have them. So we're looking for things related to data, right? I mean, we got SQL database, but not really. There has nothing here that we need. But what we're looking for is this dude here. Okay, do you see where it says ADO.NET Entity Data Model?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's call it Model 1. That is fine. And yeah, so you guys see this. This is what we want here. Project for creating ADO.NET Entity Data Model. Okay, so I mean, all of these are pretty powerful. Yeah, all of these are actually really useful and powerful. But for now, we're keeping it. Maybe we'll fiddle with these later. But for now, we're gonna do this one. All right, I'm gonna add it. Okay. You see where it says EF Designer from database? Okay. This means, remember, EF entity framework, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what this says, hey, look at the database, look at what the tables look like, and create objects in code, in C# code that I can use. Okay, repeat that, what I just said. What does this do? It looks at the database and
Sorry.
no, that's fine. Well, go ahead.
Trying to repeat flying out of my head.
Go ahead.
No, I lost it as I was trying to.
All right. No. Well, yeah. Again, it looks at the database, looked at the tables, and creates classes for them, so we can use them in our C# code. So this is what the ORM part of what we were talking about earlier. This is what lets you use a database tables as objects in our code. And this is what we're going to do now. So let's click here. And remember, this is some pretty advanced and really useful stuff. Not everybody's out there using this. I mean, not everybody's using it, but not everybody has access on how to use it or how to learn it or know that it's there. So if you know this and are dealing with this, it's ridiculously you're ahead of the game by far. Okay, so let's here, and then we click next. And what do we want to call it? Let's call it game entities. And for now, let's just call it DB, I guess. And basically, it's just what do you want to save it as? I'm just going to call it DB for now. And don't pay attention to this. This is fine. This is the connection string. Again, we will go in depth of what these things are, but for now, it's all good. Okay, next. Entity Framework 6. Do not pluralize. We don't want to pluralize the table names. And we want to import the tables, right? That's what we want. Yep. Well, that's what we want to kind of take from the database, at least for now. GameDB, and just call it GameDB. Model namespace. All right, so here we go. So again, I took the tables. Don't forget to take. Basically, this is what you're ripping from the database and turning into code. So it lets you interact. Well, you're not ripping it. You're creating kind of a connection. All right, so I'm finished here. And it's doing it. It's doing its magic. It is doing its magic. All right, don't freak out over what you're about to see here, but this is very powerful stuff. This is extremely powerful stuff here. This is high class H2O right here. Nice. Okay, so
that looks pretty.
It does. Well, first of all, tell me what you see here. What do you see here?
Looks like we've got our items and our characters.
Yep. So this is kind of our tables here, right?
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, Dave, do you see our tables here?
Yes.
Sweet. Okay, so we're just gonna save this.
We got an interesting error down there.
Oh no, don't worry. It's helping you. It's telling you that this doesn't have a primary key, which I should have created.
Yeah, I thought we did, but
And the other project we did. Yes.
it does get hard to keep track after a while.
Yeah. I created one in here, but none in here. Okay, so all right, so yeah, so we don't need to worry about that for now. So we're good here. I'm gonna close this we can close it for now. We're cool. We'll come back there. And
It's all still there. We're just hiding it, basically.
yeah, we are. And let me show you where it's hiding. Do you see this dude here? Model1.emx. This is where it's hiding.
Extreme electronic dance music.
Yep. Oh, with the D. So yeah, so this is it. I mean, this is EF right here, pretty much. And we're about to use it. Don't freak out. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so we're gonna close it. Our project currently, it's still the same as it ever was, except it has a connection now to the database, and we have created an entity framework connection that created models from the database. I should have named this a little better, perhaps. I'm not sure, but we'll see. All right, so let's see. I'm going to take a look at this. Don't worry about it. Okay. The controller right here. All right, so do you guys see what it created? What did it create? Ignore this for now. Is that Dave trying to say something? I can't hear him. Yeah, that was weird. All right. So it created a class called character and a class called item. Don't worry about this here. Yeah, so it sort of created classes for us. Did you guys see that? Yeah, so it created.
I would talk more. I have a yes, but I also have a Tribble in my lap right now.
Oh, no worries, no worries. Okay, no, so I just want you guys to be aware of what was created just now. Did we write any code to create any classes for characters that are in the database? We did not. We did not create a character class, correct? We asked Entity Framework to create a character class for us based on the table character. And it did. Do you see how powerful this is?
So wait, you're saying it generated all that out of our table or our database?
Exactly, yes.
Man.
And remember, we're doing this only with 2 tables. Most of the time, a database has like 50 tables or 100 tables.
So like, do you just not bother to build stuff in C#? You just write your table and then pop it in?
You could do it either way. You could either write the class and then have Entity Framework create the table for you in the database.
Oh man.
Or create it in the database and have Entity Framework create the class for you in Visual Studio. It is insanely useful and insanely powerful. So do you guys see? So if I wanted to create, I mean, we're only doing it one way for now, but yeah, so if I wanted to create another one, if I were to update the database, and then I would update the model, it would create another class with whatever table I created. And or again, you could do it backwards. You could create a class here and then have it, create the class here and have it be created on the database. It's pretty crazy stuff. And yeah, I'm glad you guys see that, and it's kind of ridiculously powerful, right? And it's very useful, and it's nice because it helps you get up and going, and actually coding and doing stuff rather quickly. Okay. So far so good. So far so good. I know I'm hitting you guys hard here. I know I'm hitting your brains hard, but this is good stuff. This is very very important. Okay. So
Starting to get to that point where like there's just so many things to connect.
oh no, yeah. But the thing is, once we connect this, when we set this up, we don't really have to look at it anymore, which is good. Let's see. Like once you set up the database and understand that there are objects and we can interact with them, that's it. We can focus on the actual code. So again, and remember, this is all this done. This is done for you. You don't need to worry about it. It is all good. So now, why don't we go ahead and start doing something? So we got here. All right. Well, let's just create our own in the home controller just to save time and space here. Let's solidify the example. Let's solidify it by doing something cool. I'm gonna call this create character. And normally we could, we create a form, we do all these things, but in this case, we're just gonna straight up create a character and put it in the database without asking the user, just ourselves here. Okay? So, so since we have EF and we've used it before, what do I need? Let's see. DB. Actually, let's call it database equals DB. All right. My bad. Remember when we were creating the database? I mean, we're creating EF.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Yeah, when we were creating the connection for EF, right? When I was creating the connection, I named it DB. You see over here?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that's my bad. I should have enhanced
So
that.
that's gonna give us a problem.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
No, I'm just telling you that that's what I called it. So whenever we want to instantiate or call a database connection, it's called DB. I could have just called it database connection or DBCon, but for now, I'm just calling it DB. Is that cool? Okay, so this should be somewhat familiar because we've been doing this for a while now, or we've been using it, and it should become a bit more clearer as we go. So now I have created a connection, a real connection now, to the database. So in the database, I have, let's see what kind of tables I have. I have character. And don't pay attention to the other stuff. Don't worry. So I have character, which against a collection of characters here, and then I have item, which again is a collection of items. It's a list. You guys remember list, correct? List of certain types. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Good. All right. So now. How, well, first of all, how do I create a character? I want to create something of I want to create a character and fill it up, fill up in a character object or an instance. How do we do that? Let's see, remember that it created the type character for us, so we can use it. Let's see, my character equals character. Oh, new character, sorry.
Yeah.
There you go. So I am creating a character here. Okay, I don't even need the connection yet, because right now I am creating something of type character. It's a class just like any other, and I want to put stuff in it. So let's create a character. Who should we create? Let's create Thanos. Wait, do you both see? Oh, you have it.
Oh.
Ooh.
Next weekend.
Dude,
We'll find out when.
get in there before the spoilers start coming out.
Yeah, we're trying. We're trying to get our roommate to be on board with this too.
Yeah, it's important, man. It's amazing. It's an event. Yeah, Dave, have you seen it? Infinity War.
What?
Infinity War.
Oh
movie.
no, not yet. It's too crowded.
Oh, dude, yeah. I had to sit on the first row.
Oh man, that's rough.
I took it like a minute. Oh no, but I was lucky. The theater that I went to, it's actually not horrible. It was still rough, but it was not horrible. It was okay. But yeah, it was very crowded. But anyway, okay, let's create Thor then. So how do I create Thor? I created something of type type character.
My character dot name.
That's right. Man, you guys are.
My character dot job.
God damn it. You guys are too
Thor.
good. Job, I guess he's a god. Is that what he
God.
does? Okay. My character. Age, he said he's like 1500.
1,000.
Yeah, 1,000. Alright, so that should be good, I guess. Gold, how much gold does he have?
I'm in gold.
Yeah, he got a lot. A bajillion. Let's give him 10,000. Alright, HP, he has a lot. 110. And MP. Yeah, oh man. Equals. Yeah, sorry, this is a lot of info. You should have kept it simple. And for the last one, race. He's an Asgardian, I guess, right? That's right. Like this. There you go. All right, no, so this is okay. So now I have something of type my character. Well, some type character. And now I want. So far, this is in memory. This is in memory on the server right now. So now I want to put this character into the database. So how do I do that?
We need to put that in the database, you said?
Yep, I want to put this character that I just created into the database. Well, first of all, what do I need?
You need the database.
Yep, and we call the database connection DB. So there you go. So that creates a database connection, or a type of database connection here. So now in this database, what table do I want to put stuff into?
Character.
There we go. And you see that is it's
auto-completing for us.
yeah, and it's a list of characters. That's what it sort of is. You see it?
Yeah.
All right. All right. So, and then we say add. And I guess we're gonna just we're gonna well, I want to put my character in there, right?
Yeah.
All right. And then I put it in there, but what else do I need? Remember, need to save the changes.
Oh. Mm.
If you don't save the changes, because basically what save the changes does is pushes whatever is in memory into the actual database.
So if you do that without the save changes, does it ever get into the
Nope.
like the? No. Okay, that's weird.
Nah, it will not. Unless there are some settings sometimes that it allows you to. But in a cool world, in the right world, it shouldn't or it won't. Because this is sort of keeping things on track in memory in a way. And this flushes it to the database in a way.
Okay.
Let's see. So save changes. Well, let's see if this works. So we called it create character. And we created a character.
You could possibly add multiple characters or change multiple fields and then save it and have it all work out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
So you just want that one command as few times as possible, but as many times as you need.
Yes. The less the better, because this can get expensive.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Like you want to do as much manipulation in memory as possible, and then you send it. All right. So let's run it. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay. So should I put let's see, a debug? Let's see. I don't know. Or do we know and accept what it's going to do? A breakpoint? Maybe we kind of accept what it's going to do, right? Well, let's see. And it's going to be home. And then we call it create character, correct? Well, let's go there. And then, aha! Definition query, no insert function. That is weird. Current. That is what. Did it create the wrong type? That is strange. I was doing this earlier today. Let's see. Wait. Unable to update entity set character because it has a defining query and no insert function element exists. That is odd. I guess I'll take a look at this. I think when I created it, this might have done something strange or forgot something. All right. But again, it's all right. Don't freak out. What we just did, it's kind of supposed to work, and it has before. You remember in one of our other projects? But I think when I created it, I made a small mistake, so I just need to. I think I might have forgotten something when I created it. But I'll see what it is. Let me see. The entity. Yeah, that should be correct, which is on. Unless there's another type. Yeah, I'll check this out later. The important thing is the concept. Okay, so again, are you guys good with the concept that when you create something of this type, and then you put it in, open a connection for EF, and you add it to the database, and then you save changes? Um, is that cool? I think I might have. Yeah, I mean, I'll check what it is I did wrong. I think I forgot to add the primary key or something, or one of these fields is weird when I was playing it right before. But is the concept that counts, so no worries. I'll go over it and see what what is wrong or something. It's some, I'm pretty sure it's some stupid somewhere. Model designer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's something because I did this same thing earlier today, right before class somewhat, and it was working. So I think I might have forgotten some kind of setting or something, but it's fine. Okay, so do you guys see how powerful this is? Just in case, so let me see.
Starting to get a picture, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's very powerful, and once we set it up, it's gonna be even more powerful. Yeah, this is weird. I'll check out what the error is later. Let me see. Give me 1 second. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that should be fine. Character. Oh, all right. Yeah, that just helps you do it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something dumb. All right. Yeah. So that's, I mean, the idea. It's kind of the important thing. So again, what is? So you guys kind of get an idea of what entity framework and ORM is, somewhat. Yeah, it just lets you use tables as objects in your code, so you can manipulate it, and you can create things of the type and just put them into the database pretty easily. That way you can create things like edit for them, or add or create or remove even, and it's pretty straightforward. You could work it and just write straight SQL as well if you want, but this is kind of what we're learning now. And this is kind of more convenient, and it's what most people use these days, at least using this technology. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so I think that is all for today. And how's your brains? How are your brains, guys?
A little toasty, slightly burnt.
Oh no, yeah. I'm definitely hitting you hard with this stuff. Extremely hard, I know. But once we get through this, and we're almost through this, because then we can move on to kind of more coding and actual C# related things. But it's kind of important to understand this because it is one of it's kind of the heart of the project, dealing with data and saving data and adding and updating and doing all that stuff. And wherever you go, knowing this stuff, it's gold. It's definitely gold.
I actually have a question related to SQL and all that. Like,
Yeah.
so we're building databases. We're doing everything without actual. It's all on our computer. It's a private server and database, if you would.
Yeah, a flat database. Yeah.
Obviously, at some point, you're going to connect it to a real world server out there on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But is it possible to do like a client-side operation so that somebody would download it or whatever, and they would have all the tools that they need to like not have to do what we do, and they can just run it?
You mean like install the database or something? Well, not sure what you mean. Sorry.
No, I mean, so
Mm.
say we're making a game.
Yeah.
We build a database and all that, but they're not gonna have SQL and SSMS, and somehow they're gonna have to run the project.
Oh well, yeah, that's a client thing.
Assuming
Well,
they don't have an internet connection.
no, yeah, I see what you mean. There's two ways of dealing with data or databases at all. Well, there's several ways. One is you have an internet connection and you go out, right? Most games do that somehow. Not even a database; it's just a server itself that handles requests, right? And then you have the built-in database. Yeah, you could just have a flat database on your computer, on your client. Yes.
So like I would do with everything, like there's a database file and it all just connects magically and I don't have to
Yeah.
muck about. Okay.
Hmm. Well, if you set it up to do that, yes. Hmm. Like, well, you have to do the initial setup, but you only have to do that once. So let me show you the magic. Okay, ready? Okay, sorry. Okay, you see, this is the web.config, or whichever you're running here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there is a section here that you see where it says connection strings, and this tells you over here.
Okay.
It's like go somewhere and go over there. You eventually, or you could, instead
just
of
link it to a file and a
yes,
file path.
exactly, yes, something like that, yes, yeah. In fact, when we created the, let me just, when we created the connection, what you wanted to connect to, one of the options was connect to a file. Watch. You see here, attach a database file. This is local.
Okay.
Yeah, so you could either connect to a server, or you could just connect to a standalone database files. There's several different types of those. You could just, because remember, all a database is just, it could just be a flat text file that has information in it, and you parse it and you write to it. Or it could be like a MDB file, some access file, or just a small DB file. And that's what most applications do these days. They have like a tiny database that is installed, to your computer.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, don't worry about too much about where, what kind of database is. And also, the beauty of these things is that it doesn't matter what you're connected to, the objects, you can still use the objects or not use the objects. It all depends on how you want to use them. That's kind of the power of it, because it doesn't matter what kind of database you connect to. As long as you kind of work the mapping of how the objects are filled or how they're saved, it's all the same really. But for now, the answer you're looking for, it's yes. You could just have a small local database, and it's not that. Once you set it up, once you unpackage once you click on what is it, deploy, it's going to install it for you, and it's going to do all that stuff for you. It's really powerful.
Cool.
Yeah. Like, well, let me show you. Like, one of the things is publish, and it's very powerful. It creates a whole bunch of stuff for you. But yes, yeah, the answer is yes. Sorry. Okay, so So right here, but yeah, this is kind of that technology that we're learning. You don't have to use this technology. It's just like it is the technology that people out there are using in the real world, and web development jobs, I guess. I don't know what to call it. Well, this is what our full stack developers using these days. We don't always have to using it, and we won't always have to, because especially with games, like with games, it's just like a little file or memory. Most of the time, it's probably going to be memory. That is, all that stuff is going to be kept there, and you flush it out to a file when you quit, and then you read it when they log in. So it's it's not that difficult. Okay, so any questions? Any questions?
No.
No. God damn, you guys are good. All right, so be ready for the next time, and I hope you guys got something today. This is good stuff right here.
Yes.
I will give you maybe some kind of. I will. I'll send you guys the fix for this later. See what I did wrong. All right, so I will see you guys Thursday. Keep chilling.
Thursday's good.
And do the do. And send me any questions you guys might have.
Will do. Thank you.
No problem. Later.